Happy Sunday, everyone, and welcome back to the Underground Cave. Sorry for the delay, but we're here for another exciting paint-along night. Yes, tonight we're going to continue painting the Gnoll Ravager, Blackmane Gnoll Ravager, right over here, from Reaper Miniatures 07059. So we started him a couple Tuesdays ago before the eclipse happened, so this will be part 2. This will also be the one, so the first 2 weeks we make him tabletop ready to go. And then the next 2 weeks of April, we'll kind of get him to tabletop plus standard, which means we'll get a little bit more detail into him, maybe some tattoos or some slash marks, whatever it might be. We'll have to take a look, but at least in these two paint-alongs, we'll get him so he's ready for the table. I will post all of these paint-alongs once we're all done on YouTube. You can check the Discord, !Discord, which I will do now because I'm my own mod. You can check the Discord. Go to Paint-alongs 2024, and when all four of these streams are done, I will post the links up on Discord so you could try look at them. I have other paint-alongs up there, such as the Reaper Vampire and Quantum Minis Rat Ogre, and some other stuff, a Drow Priestess. So you can check all of those out. Those were Thursday night paint-alongs in the 2023 channel. This is 2024, so if you're looking when we did these paint-alongs, you can go to the year and go to the YouTube and find out when we did those. You can get all these links on Discord if you join Discord. So all you gotta do is join it. It's an information hub, so you can just join it. We don't have to chat or hang out. You can just look for informations on different techniques and different paint-alongs. And you can always get the color palette, and you can always get the miniature that we're doing. I think I'm good up until June. So we have the May one up there, and we also have the June one up there, and then we'll see where we go after that. I think during the summer it'll go back to Thursday nights, but for now it's Sunday nights because that's when we have some time. So if you have your paints, your brushes, and whatever other tools that you're going to use. Let's get started and let's get painting. All right, so have my new hobby light. Oh, and there's all my colors. I think we're a little, let's see, boom. There we go. Boom. Oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Bring this down just a little bit. All right. Bring this way a little bit so we can get some color. We'll get to those in just a second, but here's where we left off with our little Gnoll Ravager. I'm not exactly sure where the zoom should happen here. Let me, I didn't test that out, which is really bad of me. I'm so sorry. That looks a little unfocused, so let's get that a little more focused in so that when we paint, you can see what I'm doing and you can check out what you're doing. Let's see. Compare it to what you're doing. So let's get this nice and focused up here. We're going to let it autofocus. So what I do is I let it autofocus until it gets to the nice, crisp cleanness what we want. So, come on. So it certainly doesn't like something there. Down, come on. All right, so I'm going to try to do this. That's too much. There we go. We'll just do it our own way. There we go. All right, so I'm going to paint him here. He'll get a little out of focus this way, but we can touch that up there. All right, I think it's focused on these bottles. Let's get into these bottles. Let's remind everybody what we're painting with. And so you can join the Discord, get the basic color schemes. I will tell you what paints I'm using. If I can find alternates, I will find alternates. So just going through the Monument Hobby line, the ones that I'm using today will be the green. Whoops, the green. I think we can bring this back a little bit. Let's bring this back just a tad bit. There we go. So we're using Monument Hobbies Pro Acrylic Green. We're also sticking with the blue because these are two nice vibrant colors. We'll be using Coal Black. So that is another color we'll be using. We'll also be using some Ivory and some Bright Warm Gray. Keeping in with the Monument Hobby colors, Burnt Orange and Dark Silver. So any dark silver, any burnt orange, it's an orange that's muted. So if you don't have these colors, don't worry. You can find something. You can find something comparable. We're using a black and brown. This is a very dark brown. And we're using some filigree silver. This is the lighter silver, so you have a dark silver and you have a bright silver. And of course, we're going to do some blood red. I want a darker red. I don't want a very vibrant red. We want a darker red, so that's why we're doing that. So any crimson color you have, you don't want it to be a purple, but you certainly don't want it to be fire engine red. You want something in the middle of those colors. So like a Mistafon red, I guess, from Citadel. I gotta close this because that's in my way. All right, and this is looking a little yellowy, but that's all right. I'm gonna have to change out my sponge one of these days. Let's get some painting music on. Let's see, since this is a paint along, let's try some pop. And again, I don't want to blow out people's ears, so we'll bring this down just a little bit. There we go. Well, that's not pop. This is pop. All right. So we've got our music, we've got our miniature, and we've got our paints. Come on. Trying to get a nice... Alright, that should be good. Alright, so basically, we were starting to work on some lighting effects. So we kind of wanted him bright here, and as we go to the side, it gets darker. And then as it gets to the back, it gets darker. So we want to pop out some of the colors here. And then I think we also went to do a lot of the blue around the axes. And so what we're going to do is we're going to continue on with doing that. We also have to do something to do with his eyes, because we haven't really done his eyes. I know it looks like we tried to do his eye, but we really didn't. So we got some stuff to do here. And yeah, so we're painting this up for just a quick gameplay, but we'll come back to him in a few, in the next 2 weeks to really boost him up. So yeah, let me get my goggles on and let's see what we can do on him to make him a little bit more ready for the game table. All right, that looks good there. This way, if I want, I could go like this, but I gotta bring the focus in. All right. All right, so the first thing I want to do is get some colors on the palette. Let's start with some axes. Let's get some of his axes going. We'll also get these little bone fragments in the middle of him, and I just want to work some of these other details out, and then we'll get into working some of that orange. So let's keep the orange where it is right now, and let's get some color on. We're not going to do non-metallic metal. What we're going to do is do some nice bright and silver and dark silver. So I'm going to save the silvers for towards the end, because those are kind of murder on the brushes, and we want to use the water that we're given. So let's start with the black and brown. So let's take some of this black and brown. This is what we started with on the axe handles. And with that, I'm going to add in just a smidge of burnt orange. I'm going to add just a tad bit of ivory. That gets a little bit of my yellow warmth in there, as much as. And you know what? Let's play around with a little bit of red. So let's get some red going on in there, and maybe I can get some red going on in there. All right, looks like we're gonna need to needle that down. Do I have a needle around me? I do. I don't know if I'm just pushing it back in there or not, but let's try. There we go. Get some red. All right. So, first thing we're going to do, I'm going to add a drop of water to each one of those, just to thin them down a little bit. This water here, I have mixed in some glaze medium. So it's a little bit of water and glaze medium. I'm just going to put them in each one of those to get it nice and thin. Izzy Amami, thank you so much for following the channel. I appreciate it. How are you doing this evening? We're painting along the Gnoll Ravager. Hopefully you're painting along, or you're painting, or you're doing some hobbying. What brings you in this evening? And hopefully I said that correctly. Is he a mommy? You could tell me that I said it correctly or not said it correctly at all, and then I'll just play with the name. Alright, so we're gonna work on some of these axe handles. We'll work on some of the axes. So in order to do that, I laid out my 4 colors. That's the black and brown from Reaper, the burnt orange, the ivory, and the from Monument Hobby, and then the blood red from Reaper. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take some of this nice dark brown, and I'm going to mix in a little bit of this orange into that dark brown. And look at that, we get this nice brown color. See, did you think we were going to make brown? We're going to get a little bit of ivory in there, brighten it up. Just a touch bit of ivory and a touch bit of red. Now notice, this is as much red as I'm going to get. See the red on the tip? Just going to use that and put that in there. What that kind of does is it brings this whole brown to a whole new level. Brings it to a different tint. And what we're going to do is we're going to paint the axe handles with this color here. So this is pretty thin. So notice that I don't have a tip on that brush, right? So when you don't have a tip on that brush, you go and get a paper towel or your thumb, either way, and you just kind of drag it to get all that moisture off the top so that you can get a point back on the brush. And we're going to use that to paint these handles. And this looks pretty thin, but that's all right. Thin paint is fine. We just may need to do another coat. And I know that this brown is going to work out just fine because it has all of those colors that's already on this miniature ready to go. So it's not like I'm introducing any new colors to this miniature. And that's kind of what you want to do. You want to keep the consistency, the cohesiveness, color cohesion, however you want to say it. You want to keep that in your models because that's what separates it. If you start using different colors, then different greens clash, colors don't seem to work properly. So if you can manage to use the same colors over and over by mixing them around, that's the beauty of mixing. It is an art form to mix colors, so I encourage everybody to try it once or twice. Sometimes you'll mix a color that has already been mixed somewhere. You can just buy the paint, and if you could do that, that's a heck of a lot easier than mixing it all of the time. Hey, I'm learning to paint minis myself, so I searched Twitch for hobby painting to see what I could learn. Thanks for streaming. Anytime. Any questions you want to ask, I will be more than happy to answer. I do these paint-alongs on Sunday night. We take a whole month to do one miniature. The first 2 weeks and it'll change in the summer. It'll go to Thursday, but in the first 2 weeks of the month, we just get something tabletop quality. Just get color on there and then put it on the table. We still want the pop value for our money, so we just do that. And then the last 2 weeks, we take it up a notch to make it a little bit more exciting, whether that's adding tattoos or scars or whatever it might be. So you can join the Discord, !Discord will get you the link. You can go to Paint Alongs for 2024, and in there it will tell you what miniature I'm painting. So this right here is a Reaper miniature. This is the Blackmane Gnoll Ravager. And you can order him from Reaper, or you can order him online. And then I give you a basic color palette that we're going to work with, and we go from there. So if you're learning how to do technique work, or you're learning how to do mixing, or if you're, you know, I use acrylics mostly. I don't do the oils like you'll find other places. But if you're into miniature painting and just getting into it, any questions you have, I'll be more than happy to answer. I also stream Technical Tuesdays. So on Tuesdays, I just try to find something I want to be better at. And you guys come with me on the journey. And if I succeed, I succeed. If I fail, I fail. People can offer tips. And so I've been painting for a long time. I have a lot of knowledge, but I'm now getting myself into competition painting, and I want to become better. So I'm learning how to do things that I've never done before. So I have the knowledge to answer questions. However, if you want me to show you how to do stuff, that's a pretty 50-50. That's pretty 50-50 if I can actually achieve what I want to do. So it's many, many years of practice. So trust me, if you have anything you want to ask and you think that you're going to make a mistake, there's no mistake that I have not made yet. And I'm probably going to make more mistakes as I go. I'm going to take more of this burnt orange, more of this ivory, and a smidge of red, just to give it a little bit different brown, because we don't want to just keep using our burnt orange for the brown. So there we go. Add a little bit more of this dark stuff in here, and when I do this on the wet palette, what I'm doing is pressing and twirling. That'll help me get the point back. I want to get that tip back here. And I'll just pull off some of the excess paint. Look, there's no paint on there whatsoever. This is a very thin paint. So we just have to do it again. So I'm just going to go over these areas again with this brown that we mixed up. And so what these paint-alongs have done for me is to stay within those colors. Limit that palette to 9-10 colors and really get the cohesive, because there's a lot of times I would just start adding a green because I needed a green, and then it just looks sloppy. I was painting sloppy and I didn't realize. And I'm a self-learner, so I struggle. And then I decided, you know what? I don't want to struggle anymore. I want to, whoops, I'm not on camera. I don't want to struggle anymore. I want to learn how to do this stuff. So I started watching YouTube videos. YouTube videos are fine, but they don't always show you the techniques that need to be used. So that's why streaming is so nice, because you get to that direct contact. You're like, hey, they told me to glaze this. How do you glaze? Or they told me to do this and I don't know how to do that. So if you ever have questions, a streamer will almost be willing to show you what a technique means. There we go. So we have to wait for that to dry. All right, so what I want to do is I'm going to use some black now. I'm going to go right to my black, and I'm going to clean up a little bit of the hairs around where I have this orange. And I'm only I'm only skipping that because I'm waiting for that brown to dry. It won't take that long to dry, but I also want to clean up this dagger here. So that's what I'm going to use the black for. The black is just to kind of clean things up. So let's grab that black. Oh, that's a lot of black. It's all right. We're going to be using the black for a lot of stuff. So the one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use this black, and I'm just going to clean up around the hair. I'm going to clean up the dagger here, and I'm also going to paint the axe heads. So that way you don't have to keep following me, you know where I'm going. But that's kind of what I'm doing here. So I'm just going to clean up all around this blue. We put the blue on here for a reason, so don't paint that over. Just try to get in between the blue as best you can. Remember to rotate that miniature. Get the best comfortable paint spot you can. Use the tip of that brush and let the tip be your guide. If you have to struggle to get the tip into somewhere, then you need to move the miniature. Because painting shouldn't be a struggle. It should just happen naturally. Right? Like, would you try to draw or try to write on a paper sideways? Or would you turn the paper so that you could write normally? When you get to a place that you think you're going to paint over color, slow it down, take a deep breath. I know some people, they'll paint all around certain colors first, and then they'll quicken up to match, to get all that filled in. All right. But you're welcome that I stream. Hopefully you're maybe you're just watching along and gonna paint later. All right, so we clean that up. I'm gonna clean up the fur here. There's a couple little furs here. I could make them scars. But what this also does, it allows me to kind of clean up anything around the shoulder that I might have messed up. Same thing here. Although oh yeah, right here. This just kind of separates. This is like a very, it's not like dark lining. It's like sort of a cheat because I'm just around the hair. So I'm just cheating around the hair here. So there's all this hair right over here. There we go. All right, just looking around, just looking around. All right. And as you can see, as we were doing all of that, my handles have dried up. So we're gonna work on some handles after we get this taken care of. We're just gonna do these axe heads right here. Do them nice and black. And the reason we're going to do them black is because we are going to paint them silver, but we're not going to paint all of it silver. Because we need to have that dark contrast to show off the brightness of the silver. If you do it all silver, then you don't have anything to kind of read that contrast, that brightness. So start with a black, and that way you get all into these edges here with this black. And then what we're going to do is we're going to paint the face a nice dark silver, and then we'll find out where we want the highlights to be, and we'll do that with a brighter silver. So first is black. And what this black is going to do is it's going to really bring out all those metal, glittery, shiny bits. We don't need to do non-metallic metal all the time, especially for the game piece. If you wanted to take pictures of your Gnoll, you would want to do some non-metallic metal. Why? Because non-metallic metal is really good for taking photos. Hopefully I'm still on camera. So I'm not doing the tip of the axe. That's going to get that brown color we want. But I'm just doing around it, and you'll see how that looks after. All right, we'll do the same on this side. So, and these could be stone axes. You could dry brush them with a gray and make them stone, but I think we're going to do metal on these. And I did dry brush just because I wanted to see kind of where everything stood out. And the other thing that this black is going to do is really punch that blue that we put on there. Because the darker these get, the brighter the blues get. So a little tip, if you want something darker, make the edge of it brighter. If you want something brighter, you can make it go darker around that, which is kind of what they do with OSL. They want a bright spot, they surround it by dark. If you want one thing to be bright, then everything else gets darker. Okay. And I'm gonna last Tuesday we started with this black and brown for the handles. I'm gonna cheat and just go dark brown and burnt orange really quick. Only because I can get back to where I want to be on the top. So this is just the black and brown and the dark burnt orange together. And I'm just doing the top of the axis. And then we'll get in with the brighter colors. So just a quick cheat, because we did it with the black and brown first and then we added in all that other color. So all the burnt orange is doing is giving the black and brown a little bit more of a highlight color, so you can actually start around where you are with the axe handles. And we'll let that dry a little bit along with the black. So there we have the black axe handles, or the black axe heads that we're going to bring silver. We have these axe handles that are a little bit more brown, and we kind of cleaned up all around. And then we have this guy down here. All right. So while we're waiting for all that to dry, we're going to move on to one other spot. And that is, we're going to actually go into these bones and we're going to bring those to be a highlighted more. We're going to add more pop to them. And the way we're going to add more pop is by going right to our ivory. Right? And I'm going to add in to this ivory some of this dark black and brown from Reaper. So we're just going to do this. I need more black and brown on my no, that's walnut. Whoops. This what I want. Okay, that looks good. Paint, putting more paint in as well. Putting it into this ivory. We're gonna get like sort of this gray color here. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of orange to that to make it a little bit more brownier. Oops. There we go. I'm going to take this color right here and I'm going to start dotting the edges of these bone colors, just like that. Now when you dot, you don't just put a dot, but you twirl the brush to make a nice little dot. So when I touch the bone, I'm making this little circle. I'm exaggerating my circle right now so that you can see what I'm doing. But you want to touch and twirl. Touch and twirl. And then I'm just going to kind of use the tip of the brush to make a little streak going into that circle. Just like so. And we kind of brighten those bones up a little bit, and we'll do it again by adding more ivory to that. So rinse out the brush. You want to make sure that you have a brush that has a nice tip to it. So make sure that you have a tip to your brush, because that's what we're using all of the time. I'm going to add more ivory to this mixture. And add a little more burnt orange. It's not even like a lot of burnt orange. It's like just right on the tip there. I just want to give it a little bit of color. That's all I want to do. Add more of this ivory. And the reason is because I'm just popping out the ivory. And I'm going to do the same thing, except this time I'm going to make little dots. I'm just going to poke, poke. I'm not going to twirl here. I'm just going to kind of poke different areas. And then kind of draw that line again. Just very carefully. And it really poke. There we go. And then as that dries, we're going to take pure ivory. And this time I'm just going to poke the edges. So I just want to poke here. And here. And here. Right? So you just want to poke those edges so that it just gives a little definition and a little bit of pop value. And we don't have to do anything other than that. And you can just do as many pokes as you want to sell the effect of a bone color. And there you go. Now he's good. All right, let's get back to those handles now. I'm gonna add a little bit more ivory to this color. Not too much ivory. And we're gonna go back to the handles. And I'm not gonna do anything on the bottom. I'm only gonna do it on the top here. So I'm just gonna kind of hit the top of this. And the tip of the handle there. We'll do the same thing over here. Again, I'm only using the tip of the brush. It's not even the tip of the brush, I'm using the side of the tip of the brush. And I just want to do it where the light's going to hit up on top. So again, this is where my light's going to hit over here. And over here. On top here. And over here. So when somebody turns it this way, they see that. When somebody turns it this way, they see that. We don't have to worry too much. And if you look underneath, it's not going to be bright at all, which is what we want. Just going to do the tops of this right here. And again, if it's too thin, you just have to do it a second coat. You don't have to change. I'll do that again. As soon as this dries, I'll use the same color and you'll see it'll turn a little bit brighter. Alright, so I'm just looking around here. I got a little bit of black that I want to do over here. So I just need to do this black. So I haven't really touched up anything. I haven't worked on this since we worked on it last Tuesday. There's a little bit of hair in here. And I think there's a little bit of hair coming down off of his face. Whoops. My tip's breaking down. That means I have to clean the brush. So we'll do that. There we go. It's got a black mane. Look at that. All right. All right, let's see. What do I want to do over here? Do I want to do anything over here? You know what? I'm going to take some of this. Let's do this. Let's take this black and brown. Notice that black and brown is my unifying color at the moment. I take some of this red and mix it together. We're going to make a nice mahogany brown. And I'm actually going to paint this backpack back here with this red brown we just created. So using that black and brown and this red, this blood red, we have now created a mahogany brown, which I can use to highlight with red. I can use some gray, some warm gray, and make a highlight. can use burnt orange to highlight this color if I wanted to. All those colors are already on this miniature somewhere in some fashion. And I know what people were saying. They're like, oh, but you have green and red. You're going to make them Christmassy. Not necessarily. Not when you start mixing things. You can mix with red and green, and you can create something that's non-Christmassy. In fact, I like this color so much, I think I'm going to do it as the belt. So there's a belt around it. I was going to do the belt black. Let me see what the belt looks like black. Black's not going to hurt this at all. So let's do the belt black. And I also see a bone that he has kind of sitting here. So I'm going to paint that black to start with as well. So let's get this belt here. We did a blue gem here, so you want to make sure that you do nice and slow around that belt. Around that blue, I should say, when you're doing the belt. Don't get anything on that blue. Turn to miniature if you have to. You also have some green to contend with, so try to keep that green color as best you can. Using the side tip of the brush, I'm getting into where the belt is. If I don't like a black belt, then I will go to that red brown we made. Looks like he's got another sickle there, another weapon. So I'm gonna have to fix that up too. I think we painted it green last week, or on that Tuesday. And now that I'm actually seeing it up close, because we have more colors on it, I think that's a weapon. Maybe you already seen that on Tuesday and painted it. But that's what we're gonna do. So right here, I thought this was a piece of cloth, but it's not. This is a weapon. We'll get that to be nice and silver as well. Turn the miniature over. Turn the miniature over and get the underside of that to be nice and black. There we go. I'm going to get this handle black, so because it's near the orange, I'm going to kind of be very careful and slow with how I paint this. Find that angle that you can actually poke carefully, but if you do happen to get any on him, we can always fix that up. I think that works. Okay. I have a little green mess here that I have to get. There we go. Alright. So now that green looks just a little bit less. So we'll have to pop that green out just a little bit more afterward. But I'm going to go ahead and actually use some of this black for the bone color here. And what this allows me to do is keep the edges of this darker. Now I am going to paint this like we did the other bone colors, but right now I just need to know where it is. So there's where that bone is. So see, there's the bone, there's the weapon. So if I paint it black, I know that it means something's got to happen there. All right. So he's starting to shape up a little bit more. He's starting to kind of come out a little bit more. You know, there's obviously some cleanup on his chest that we'll take care of momentarily, but right now it's more about getting the whole piece done for the table, and then we can go back and refine certain things that we need to refine. So so the next thing we're going to do is do that brown. So I'm going to actually start with some of the black and brown, and I'm just going to add a smidge of ivory to that. No other colors, just black and brown, maybe 2 black and browns to 1 ivory mixture, and I'm just going to go ahead and paint that bone color. I'm going to paint this all bone, or this entire bone. I'm using the black to kind of darken it down a little bit and to keep it separated from the green and the clothes, or not the clothes, the Gnoll. So we're going to do this, and eventually we also want to keep that black in there to separate it from the belt. So we're going to do this, we're going to do this. All right. Let's see, what would look good? Let's go back to that handle, and just to show you that I can use the same exact light brown I was using before. This time I'm just going to stay on the top. Like right here. Right back down here. And this is just going to make it look like it's brighter, but it's really the same color. It's really the same color. So you can keep highlighting with the same color until you find that it's light enough, and then you can go ahead and highlight again. So I'm just staying more towards the top with this. Because as the light hits it and it comes down, it'll eventually go to the darker color, which is what you want. And we'll do the same thing on the tips of that. So I'm just grabbing some of this. Get the tip. Get the tip. Now I'll show you how you can make this look a little bit more like wood grain. This basically, you're going to take a little bit of the ivory and you're going to lighten it up, and then you're going to just kind of draw these little squiggles in there. But let's see, what do we got here? I think I need a little bit of burnt orange on this knee. This knee is looking a little weak. So just need to clean that knee up a little bit. going to actually go in and paint some of the, I'm going to paint the slits for the eyes. So I'm going to hold this as sturdy as I can. I'm going to brace my fingers on my other fingers, and I kind of just want to touch the eye at an angle, like so. So I'm just touching it at an angle to get that eye in there. And I will do the same thing on this side, except this side seems to have a little bit of a scar. Like, I'm not exactly sure where this eye is supposed to line up. So I'm going to try it right there. And let's see. So that's kind of how he's looking. I want to see if the other one that I have two of these in case I failed at one. I just want to see if, yeah, so the eye, I don't know if you can see it, but the eye is right there. Right where that tip of the brush, oops, right where the tip of the brush is, right there, that's the eye. But I don't have that eye. Well, no, I think I got it. I didn't get all of it. So let's, that eye actually comes down here. Just trying to get some outline of that eye. Because this eye is like right there, I can see it. There we go. That looks a little bit better. In fact, with that black, I'm going to actually get the nose a little darker. Only the nose, not the muzzle. I like where the muzzle is. There we go. That looks better. All right. He's looking all right. He's looking all right. Okay. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take some of this red that we have. I'm going to take some of this burnt orange that we have. Mix those two together. Burnt orange, blood red, and some black. Mix all that together. And the reason I'm adding black is because we painted certain things with black. Let me do this again. Dark orange, or burnt orange I should say, and red. So we're gonna make this nice kind of muted burnt red kind of color. Now I have burnt red, but we didn't want to use it, so. All right, now I'm gonna use that burnt red, that very kind of mucky red, and I'm going to actually paint this handle with it. Right on his leg. Why? Because we already have green in. Let's get some red in there. And since the green is kind of a muted down tone, we can make this red a muted downtone. The reason I put the black in here is because this is painted black, and it's much easier for me to paint red over black if there's black already in my red. Then if I want to highlight it with red, I can go ahead and highlight it. Or if I want to paint it again red, I can do it, but I've already painted some red on here, even though it's been mixed with black. So if you're ever having a problem with reds or yellows or whites and you have to paint over black, add black into that color you want to paint with, and then paint with the color. That's the tip I have for you. So add black to your red, then paint with that black-red mixture, then go ahead and paint red, and you'll see that the red shows up much more on that than it will on pure black. All right, so we'll wait to get the actual red on there. Just making sure I get all of the handle. May need to do a couple coats. Okay. So we have a nice smooth coat of that red. I don't know if you can actually see it, but it's there. All right. Now, as promised, I will show you how to take care of it. So we use this red. I'm going to use a different brush because I think my tip is breaking down on that brush. So I'm going to use a smaller brush that has a little bit more of a tip to it. I'm going to take that color we were using to do the handle. I'm going to add a little bit of ivory to it. So there's my color with some ivory to it. Twirling the brush to get that point back. And all you're going to do, again, hold the miniature sturdy, brace your hands, and because wood is organic, it doesn't matter how this wiggles. You can just kind of make it wiggle down. Alright, even if you have shaky hands, I can't do it that way because the arm's in my way. So I will do it this way, and I will just kind of draw a couple grain lines in here. Notice that they do not have to be straight. You don't want them to be stripy. You just have to kind of make little and that's one way that you can get some wood. That's the quick and dirty way. But it kind of looks like, you know, you put some effort into it, but really you just drew a couple squiggly lines in a direction. Could you do knots and stuff? Yeah, you could. Sometimes if you have a layer line, you can hide a layer line by throwing in this this squiggle. Sometimes if you want to edge highlight, you can follow the edge highlight. Like here I followed the edge highlight, so then I'll just kind of do it again towards the back, and that's how you can make a little bit of texture. There's a little cut right here, so I could just do that. Just a way of breaking up some open space. Just a fun little way of... So the axe handles look like they have texture, but they really don't. All right. Now, one of the reasons that I'm not working on the blue is because I have some axe handles there that may, in fact, cover up some of the blue. So I want to do the blue very last if I can. But notice that here, there's no real definition between the arm and the blue. And so that's what I want to, we're going to take some time at the end of the stream to show you how you can make those pop out. But I want to get this to be sort of at a done state for everybody to put on the table. So the one thing I do want to do is I want to take some of this green, because we haven't used that yet, and the warm gray, because I think we used the warm gray to help us out. And I think we also used the black, if I remember correctly. Don't totally remember. But we're gonna make another brown, by the way. So keep that black and brown pretty fresh on your palette. So I need to make this green color again, which I think was just a little bit of the green. And I need to add just a smidge. I'm gonna add it here instead of to the colors themselves. So I'm gonna add this nice bright green, and I can put this bright green anywhere I want because I have green already on there, but I don't want to add it just yet. Add a little bit of medium to that, thin that down just a bit. Gonna add a little bit of this bright warm gray. It has a little bit of green and yellow in it, so look how bright that makes that. And we're gonna kind of dull that down a little bit, because if I put that on right now, it's not gonna look the way I want. So we're gonna add a little bit of black to that. This is gonna really darken it up. And we're gonna add more green because I want it to be a green gray. And I can't remember if we added orange to that, but I'm gonna keep adding a little bit of gray to this. And what I want to do is take this and pop out some of this green. So we're just going to kind of edge highlight the best we can. I want to bring out some of this green and clean up anything around the green that we put in there. So I kind of clean up around this, because this is where the bones are coming out of, so that's obviously going to be a little bit brighter because it's hitting the light more. And hit the edge of this. Now the reason that you would hit the edge of this is because it will darken around his leg. That's what you want to do. You want to darken around that leg area so that this pops a little bit more vibrantly. And like I said before, you can always darken an area just by adding a brighter color next to that dark area. So that kind of comes back out a little bit, and just add a little bit of brightness here, a little bit of brightness here, and around the leg here, around this bone. And I'm kind of just streaking this on, so if it looks like I'm not really painting, I'm not really painting fully because I want it to look a little bit tattered. So you can make it tattered by just kind of hitting, making these little slash marks on the edge. So I know that this might be a tabletop plus feature, but you can also not worry too much about tabletop because you can make anything look a little tattered. Oops. Get rid of that. We don't want that down there. There we go. So that green is popping a little bit more. And we can make it pop just a little bit more by adding some of this gray. And we can fade it out just a little bit. So now where do I want to put this? Well, you want to put this on any high spot. So just around the bones here. So right in the middle here. Right, so we'll just hit it in that area. Like where this leg area, where it pops up here. Where it pops right here. Right, that's how you sell the 3D effect, right? Like all this is much higher than anything else, so that will get more of the light. This little pop right here, and I don't think we have to do anything down there, right? Now I could, if I wanted to, pop this just below the belt, just to kind of give it a little bit more volume, like that. And the other thing I could do is actually take this color, add a little bit more black to the other side, really make it nice and dark, nice dark gray, and I can paint the inside of this fabric down by his knee. And what that will do is kind of separate from his leg there. And I can also paint kind of down here a little bit. If it's too bright down there, we just kind of take it down a little bit. There we go. So hopefully when he's on the table, it'll look like he has some green there. It'll look like you spent a whole slew of time painting on that green, but you really didn't. Good evening, I'm painting along, but it's Rising Phoenix prep. Well, welcome in Muse's Touch. How are you doing, ladies and gentlemen? If you're not following Muse's Touch, please give her a quick follow. Muse's Touch is a fantastic streamer and entertainer, and she does pretty much everything I do. She teaches, she shows her stuff off, and I'm pleased to announce that, all right, I won't announce it, but we all know Muse's Touch. We all know. We all know. All right. We're going to take some of this red color, and it's pretty potent red. So it's up to you if you want to go this bold with it. I'm not going to go bold with this red, but I am going to stick it into that color we made originally, and I'm going to dull the red down because I don't want the super vibrancy. Again, it looks like this is a little thinner than I was looking for, but no worries. We just take this paper towel here and we'll just kind of drag it along, because really at the end of the day, if you don't have that tip, you can't really paint. And I'll show you that painting red over black is not very hard because we've already added that black in. Now I'm just gonna add a little bit more red, and voila, we have painted red over black. It takes us 2 steps, but we have the red there. Do the same thing on this side. Do this here. Do it underneath. This way I can highlight it if I want to highlight it. And now we have a red handle. So see, we've got the contrast in there. We've got red and green in there. Red, green. Not Christmas. Not Christmas. Announce what? You're tired, but need to get Trug done. Yep, I get that. I get that. All right, let's see. Where are we at here? We're at 10:04. We've been doing this for an hour and a half. I think we can work a little bit with some metallic paint. Do you? Oh, before we do metallic paint, let me just continue on. There's a belt back here I have to get black. Sorry about that. So let me do this really quick. Well, if you're painting this guy, then you're gonna have to paint this black too. So we want this top belt here to be a little bit on the black side. We're still trying to determine if we want to keep it black or do it this mahogany color we did the belt. I'm inclined to keep this black, and I will get some gray highlights on it. Only because I now have decided that not only will we have a red brown pouch, but we're gonna have a green brown pouch. So we're gonna take some of this black and brown that we have before, and we're gonna add some green to it. So now instead of a reddish brown, we're gonna have a greenish brown. That looks a little too green to me, so let's do a little bit more of this black and brown. There we go. Nice, dirty green brown. And we're gonna do this little pack over here. Still gonna be brown, but it's gonna have a greenish tint to it more than a reddish tint to it. Again, keeping the, so we have the blue-orange contrast, and now we have the green-red contrast. And the green-red contrast, because they're muted down, they're not going to be as vibrant as the blue-orange is. Muted and saturation, or muted and vibrant, is a contrast. So if you're ever thinking of adding contrast to a miniature and you don't want to do it by colors, do it by vibrancy. Do it by hue. Announce what? The fact that you taught me everything I know? You don't want me to announce that, right? Alright, so with that red brown, I can go back in and add a little bit more red to this brown. Just like so. And in fact, I'm even going to add a little bit of light, warm gray. And by doing that, I can make a highlight color for this little pack. So I'll just kind of hit. Now this pack has a U shape, so I'm going to do the U shape. And then paint on the bottom. Paint the little flaps up here. Paint the U's. We got some U's over here. Just doing some subtle highlights. If I go too much with the highlights right off the bat, it's not gonna look natural. You're just gonna end up with something that looks super light brown. So if you gradually add in that gray and just paint the highlights, it kind of smooths everything out. See? You'll still have the highlight color in there, but it's a subtle highlight, and we'll get into sharper highlights later on. Also, you can just keep painting with the same color until it looks highlighted to you. So ReaperCon, I believe, or no, Rising Phoenix is next weekend. So anybody that's in the Massachusetts area, if you would like to go to Rising Phoenix out in Milton, Mass, you can find Muse's Touch hanging out there. She'll be doing a paint and take, showing off her stuff. All right. So we'll add a little bit more bright warm gray to that mixture. It's almost turning into like a purpley brown, so we can add a little bit more red to that. And I think I'm gonna add a little bit of orange, because that orange has just a little bit of yellow to it. And now we have another color that will just kind of do the same thing we did before. We're just going to do these U's. So like right here, do the U. There's another fold right here that has a U to it. So we'll do that. And then we'll bring them down to the face. We'll do the same thing over here. There's a U there and a U there. And then we'll do some on these flaps. And there is our pack. And you can do this as much as you want. It's gonna look a little bright on mine because I have a light shining on it, but it's pretty wet. But once this dries, it won't look as bright. And I will go one more step with the bright gray. One more step with this bright warm gray, and I'm just gonna do the U right here, and the U right there. Notice each time I do it, I'm getting smaller and smaller with the highlight. Each time you add a brighter color for your highlight, you do a smaller area so that it kind of looks like that. So there you go. Now he has a pack behind him. And you guessed it, we're going to do the same exact thing on that green one. Well, you can, but I think I want to go into my silvers now. Let's work on the silvers just a little bit, and then if we'll go around and we'll kind of clean things up, get him ready for the table, and then we'll come back in the next 2 weeks and really kind of solidify him to tabletop plus quality. But for right now, he's looking good for the table, except we need some metal bits on him for swords and things like that. So let's go ahead and do that. Saturday and Sunday only, but I'll be on site Friday evening, and Rising Phoenix is having their first ever mini painting contest. All right, I'd be happy to see what those entries will look like, and see what kind of feedback people get. I think that's going to be awesome. All right, so to do the metallics, we're going to get the dark silver out and the bright silver out. So we're going to take two shots of the dark silver. We're going to do 1 shot of the dark silver. So we have 2 and 1, and we're going to take this filigree silver from Reaper. That's our bright silver, and we're going to do the opposite. So we're going to have a bright there, bright. So each one has 2 parts, right? Now we want to mix them. So to mix them, instead of using a brush to mix, I'm going to use the back of a brush to mix. So I want that there. Rinse that out. Gonna mix this together. Do not press on the wet palette because you will bust the wet palette. So I'm doing it very lightly because I don't want to break the wet. I don't want to make water go in there. And then this one I'll just kind of, so very carefully you just mix those up. So there we go. There's dark silver, a 50-50 mix, and the bright silver. And the first thing we're going to do is use that 50-50 mix, and I'm going to use a different brush. The reason I want to use a different brush is because there's metal flakes in here, and we just got done using certain brushes for not using metal flakes. So I'm going to use a brush, and when I use the brush, I'm going to use the side of the tip, and I'm just going to do this sweeping motion. That's what I want to do with this middle silver that we made. 50-50 mix. And there you go. I'm going to twirl it. I don't thin out my metallics. They're on a wet palette. I won't thin them out. I'm going to start right here in the middle where this point is, and I'm just going to kind of sweep it on the flat surface, because I want to keep this nice and smooth, and sometimes metallics will have a texture to it. So if you kind of sweep it around, you can keep them smoother. Turn the miniature over to get this edge right here. And again, I'm using the side of the brush, not using the tip, and I'm not jamming the brush into. This way, if I use the side of the brush, I can get the tip where I need to be. Now, one thing I'm not going to do is the inside of that. I'm just going to stay on the flat pieces. So once again, I'm going to take the side of the brush and use it to get into where I need to. Now I will do this here, and I will do right in there, but I'm not going to do any more than that. So like if somebody's looking at it this way, there's the metal, right? I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm not taking it off. I'm just moving it around because I need it to be nice and smooth. If you don't have a metallic that does things nice and smooth, then you have to kind of, most people, they start to kind of stroke it like this, and you don't want to do that. You want to just kind of move it around, thin it all out. We do the same thing with the edge here. And same thing, I'm not going to do underneath, right? That's where the contrast comes in. So that black that is around there, that's going to frame the axe. But now we have an axe. We'll do the same thing on the other side. I think I need more music. I think I'm all done with that particular music. So let's go to world music. Let's see if this works. Hey, what happened to my pretzel rocks? Well, that's annoying. My pretzel rocks just kind of bit the bullet. Ugh. Let's see if I can get a new. Alright, well, we're going to have to do this without music until Pretzel Rocks decides, oh, we forgot to pay the bill. Unless I'm off. That's why I went to Streamlabs Music from Pretzel. Yeah, this is the first time it's ever done this. I don't know if I have two. Alright, here we go. Let's do some VHS. Alright, we'll do the top of this. So that way, if they look at it this way, they see that. And then we'll do this. Put this back over here where it belongs. Alright, and then with the tip of the brush, very carefully, I'll get inside here just to get some metallic pieces in there. This is why, and then we'll go, if you get any on the blue, that's fine. We'll fix up the blue after. Remember, when we're painting miniatures, we can always fix mistakes. We try to not make mistakes, but part of miniature painting is to know how to fix mistakes, and so we're not stressed too much about it. That might have to be a class, Muse. I might have to work on that as a class. Fixing mistakes. There we go. Let's go ahead and get the same. Let's get the same thing on this blade right here. Right underneath that green pack. And this is where you'll see why we don't paint all of the black, because this will be a nice framework from the tail and the cloth. And it really kind of frames in that pack now, right? Like you can see that pack. And then I'm going to keep this in the scabbard, but I'm just going to kind of do the handles in this silver as well. Or the hilt. So we'll just paint this hilt right here like so. And then the other thing I'm going to do is this part right here. This is a little metallic button up for the scabbard. And it's a nice contrast to the black fur on his leg. All right. There we go. Now what's nice about this with the metal is that if you look at it through a light, you can kind of see where you highlight things, right? Like if I decide that the light's coming here, you can kind of see where you have to highlight all kinds of things. And that's kind of where we're going to do our bright silver. So I'm going to start with these axes, let everything else dry that we painted, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that bright silver, that filigree silver, and get this line here. Get this right in here. Get this tip here with this, right? So that's kind of where we're going to go with this. Now we certainly don't have to, because eventually I'm going to get this edge of the blade here, right? So so see where that light is? That's kind of where I want to paint this. Kind of like this, so that when I turn it, it's got that brightness right there. So I want a little bright line here. So with the side of the brush, the side of the tip, I just go right there. And I just go right there. That way when I turn this, it's always going to have sort of a bright spot there. I think I'll do this as well. And then there's a bright spot down here that we get. Okay. We'll do the same thing on this side here. So we're just kind of twirling it so that we have the tip. See all that on the tip? Oops, too much. And we're going to use the side of the tip to kind of just rock back and forth. That's how we get that bright spot there. That's how we get that bright spot there. And we'll kind of get the tip of this here. Now with metallic paints, you're fighting the light all of the time, so you want to make sure that you're looking at it away from the light so you can see if you've got those highlights where you need them. It's kind of hard, but I'm going to take the dark silver now, and because this blade edge is facing downward, I'm going to use this dark, and I'm just going to kind of get this to be on the dark silver side. And I'm also going to bring some dark silver into this area right in here, away from the axe handle. So I'm just moving some of this dark, and I'll also do a little bit down here. So I have light on the top, dark on the bottom. Even though you can't see it because the light is taking it away, you're just gonna have to trust me that it is there. Oops, that's the medium one, I don't want that. So, taking this dark, I'll put it sort of, see, so it'd be underneath here, and it would be on this side here. And away from the axe blade. No, away from the axe handle. I don't know what I'm talking about. There we go. I'll do the same thing on this side. Looking at him facing upward, it's going to have the same kind of deal. This edge is going to be darker. This is going to be darker. Although I don't think I did it on the... Did I do the dark one? I didn't do the dark one. Did I do the dark one? I did not. This one is going to actually get dark on here. And we're going to do the light silver, very bright silver. And we're just going to rock it here. Oops. There we go. So that's how that one looks, and then we'll do the same thing over here. The difference here is that light will kind of catch this U shape right here, just before the blade. So I'm going to give that a little highlight right there. So it kind of looks similar to that. And then this will catch the light down here. There we go. Yo, how late are you staying? Are you staying up? How late am I staying up? We're probably going to be ending within 15 to a half. We're just finishing up a little bit of our game piece, so maybe a half, or until I can actually get done with this. So this is just, I'm going to do the highlights here, just very carefully right here. Just to give me a little contrast or a little separation from the other stuff here. So just kind of right here, oops, right here. There we go. Oh, and right here is a good spot. It looks pretty good. Yeah, I think it looks pretty good for a little game piece. Hopefully, anybody that's watching this video can do everything that I'm doing. We're gonna do other stuff to him in the next 2 weeks, but right now we're just kind of getting all the colors we need on him and cleaning him up. I have to do this bone thing here, so I'm gonna get rid of that brush and I'm gonna come back to the brushes that we were using. How you doing, Mjar? Mjar? And Aznable. Mjar Aznable. I think that's how you say it. Or Mjar. Not quite sure. Alright, so a couple things that we're going to do here going forward. We're going to clean up some of the blue. That's number one. We're going to finish this bone color here. This green pack back here is going to be kind of done the same way we did this guy back here, this red brown pack. So we're going to do that the same way. And we have to highlight some of the black. So that's kind of where we're going to go at this stage. And then I will show you how we can do some of this blue gem right here. And I think we'll call it good for this stream. So let's start with that brown color. We mixed some brown and regular ivory. So I'm just going to take some of this ivory color again and stick it into this brown. And to bring this to a much more richer brown, I'm going to add some of the burnt orange and grab that in there. So this turns it a little bit more brownish gray. And we're going to use that to do the bone. So basically, again, when you do the bone, you're going to take the tip of the brush, you're going to poke and twirl. All right, that's how you get these nice little circles. We're going to poke and twirl. And then you just kind of bring those bone fragments in to the center. So poke and twirl. Hold on. Poke, twirl, poke, twirl. And bring into the center. And we want to keep a little of that black lining in there so it kind of shows some separation. And we're going to do that all over again, this time with the eye. We're going to put more ivory in. But remember, anytime you're next to a color that you've already done, such as his skin or this green back here, you got to go slow. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. We do what we can here. I'm going to add a little bit more ivory to this color. Really pop that out. Add a little bit more orange. Just to get it. Yeah, there we go. And we're going to do the same thing again. So you're just going to kind of pop. You're going to poke and twirl. You're going to poke and twirl. Poke and twirl. Poke and twirl. So that gets the edges of the bones, and then you just kind of make this little line here go into the middle. Notice each time I add a lighter color, I don't do as much of the painting. I'm going to sit back and relax while you paint and enjoy. Thank you. Take a little more ivory and add it in. More ivory, add it in. Making another highlight color. Again, it's just going to be the same thing we do, but now we don't do it as much. So we poke and twirl. We poke and twirl each time you add a light color. You always do a lot less on the figure using the point of that brush. Hey, MJar, I know that you're sitting back and relaxing. How is that Reaper brush doing for you? Do you enjoy it? Did you get any more? Because I kind of really like those brushes. I like their sables. And the last thing we're going to do is actually use pure ivory. You're going to poke and twirl these little balls here, these joints. And you're going to poke and twirl these joints. And you're just going to do this little line right here. You don't even have to go all the way up to the... You just have to do it right around that belt. See, like I'm just going to do that much of the bone. And just kind of highlight. And there you go. There is the bone. I only have the one brush, but when I used it, it almost felt loose or floppy. If it's the brush I'm thinking of, I have been building a lot more than I have been painting lately. Oh, I hope it's not floppy. It should have a nice twisty or snappy tip to it, at least. Or maybe you got a defective one. I hope not, because that would be... I've been telling everybody to get those, and if you got a bad one, then that's not good. Gotta look at one thing here. I have a feeling that is not a bone color. I might have to change that up just a smidge. Just gotta fix a couple things here. All right, there we go. This should be pretty bright right here. This should be pretty bright right here. There we go, that's what I'm looking for. Alright, so that is the bone color that we did. Let's go ahead and work on that backpack. So this is, we just want the light gray. So we're just going to keep adding light gray to this this dark green mix. Add a little more green to that to bring some green into it. And I'm just going to go ahead and start kind of picking out all of the highlight edges. This is a different pack altogether, so it's got some angles to it. So we just want to get at some of those angles. Using the side of the brush kind of helps us out a bit. And remember to turn the miniature so that you can hit where you need to without making too much of a mess. Okay, so there's part of that pack. We'll go ahead and add a little bit more. I'm gonna add some ivory to that color. Really boost that brightness up just a bit. I'm gonna add a little bit more of this brown. A little ivory. Bring that right up. Add a little more green. You want to keep the green in there as much as you can, but you want to make it nice and bright. A brighter muted green. And now I'm just going to go around and hit some of these edges. Showing off that texture. And it's really, you just have to do it where you think the light's gonna hit the most. Kind of like that. You don't have to go too much farther. Maybe over here. But what it's going to do is it's going to kind of really, it's going to sell that black belt a little bit more. Might be the same as, the cloth. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually take this black and brown and thin it down. Gonna make a little wash with it. So we need a paper towel. Let's get a paper towel. Okay, I'm going to sit back. Let's see, never mind. Never mind, it has a lot of spring back, but I know it splits a little bit easier. Yeah, it just means it needs to be cleaned a little bit. I need some muscle memory of twistedness. Okay. I'm just taking this out, and all I'm going to do is kind of wash over this this pack, just to kind of darken it down, give it a little bit of a brown wash. Because it might be a little too much like his cloth that he's wearing. So I'm just gonna kind of bring this back down to more of a brownish. I might have went too much with the gray in this, so I'm gonna tone this down just a bit. So twisting, so basically when you're using thin paint, you just kind of twist the brush on the wet palette and it should come back to a point. If you're using dry paint, it's gonna end up splitting on you. Kind of like, whoops, kind of like this. But this brush, this is how it wants to stay, because let me show you why I don't use this brush as much. One. So here's the brush, but if I press it down like this, I don't know what I'm painting with this. See, it doesn't doesn't snap back. So I don't know what this brush is for. It says it's a fine red sable, but certainly not something. Maybe you can use this for something, but not for acrylics. So this one here, well, I got paint on that. Hold on. So this one here, if I do that, see it doesn't do, it stays where it needs to stay. So that's hopefully what your brush does. Need a little more of this brown. Alright, so all I did was darken this up with a little bit of the brown. It's still got the green in there, but it's not like it's separated from the actual cloth that we did. So that was my mistake, but we can always fix it. So there's the green pack, there's the red pack, here's the green skirt, here's the red handle. So you can paint with green and red, folks. You can do it. It is not that much of a challenge. All right, we're gonna clean up some of the blue, I think. There was something else I wanted to do and I can't remember. Let's clean up the blue. So let's get some blue on our palette. I could have also added a little bit of blue to that green. We haven't used any blue yet. So if I wanted to, I could add some blue to that green pack. All right. So we're gonna take some of this black. And we're going to start with the black, and we're going to keep adding blue to it until we get some desired blue that we want. So I'm going to start with this blue. This is a nice dark blue. Looks like a blue-gray almost. Anytime you're adding black, you should always add color to black, not the other way around, because then you end up going too dark. I'm going to add a little bit of water to this. I don't want to make it into a glaze, and I don't want to make it into a wash, but I do want to be able to draw thin lines with it, right? So in order to do that, well, not in order to do that, but the reason I want to do that is because there's a lot of these bands that we need to get to be nice bright blue, and how better to do that than with a nice dark blue underneath it. And we might have messed stuff up when we were doing our axe. So I'm just going to go around and add those blues back in very carefully, because you don't want to mess up your silver, right? And then there's some other bands that we didn't do last week or last Tuesday, so we'll do that. And this dark blue will also be like a dark lining that can happen. I'm going to do it around the red handle here. And we'll also do it around these little ribbons back here. hopefully I'm still on camera. If I'm not, just let me know. Let's see. This here, that looks like a bracelet. Maybe I won't do that. We'll do the bracelet after. Let's get some bands over here. This is also a great way to clean up any mistakes that you did. So if you got any kind of orange or black on these bands, now's the time to clean those up. We can do this all here. So when I say cleaning up, like I can go right here around the knee, and then when I get the actual blue on there, it'll look like it's separated from the actual leg. So it's gonna look pretty dark right now. It's gonna look unsaturated because we added the black, but it won't look that way for long. You're fine. Hey, T-Cat, welcome in. Welcome in. Another fantastic streamer that everyone needs to follow. So right here, I don't have any kind of real edging. So what I can do is I can go on top of this red band, or this blue band. Red band? Oh boy. I don't know my colors anymore. But see, I'm going around and I can make that blue stand out more by just putting a darker color next to it. T-Cat, how are you doing? What's been going on? Hopefully your Sunday has been pretty relaxing. I'm also going to take this dark blue and I'm going to paint under this gemstone right here. No, I don't want to do that. I want to paint on top of the gemstone, right? No, let's just paint the whole gemstone. Just paint the whole gemstone. Because we're going to actually make that into a gemstone. So just paint that all dark. Nice blue. Look at that. Do-do-do. Do-do-do. Right in there. Excellent. And I think we might actually have it here. So I'm just going to kind of paint this dark blue line around this handle. Same thing here. Excellent. All right. So I think we got it. Show you how to brighten those up. So that's the dark blue. Allergies did me in this morning and I picked up more paint this weekend, so that's a plus. Hope everyone is doing well. That's great. What paint did you get? You're fine? Oh, good. I'm glad I'm fine. Evening, Gel and Muse. Evening. Let me give T-Cat a quick shout out here. Hey John, if you're not following T-Cat or Muse's Touch, please make sure you go and rectify the situation, hopefully after tonight. All right, so really quick, we did the dark blue. We have a vibrant blue. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some bright warm gray. Right there. To my blue. Now I'm going to make it nice and bright. And what I will do, I'll just show you what this looks like really quick. I'm not going to do it all around the bands. That's something, that's your homework assignment, to go around and do it on the bands. But where we did it over here, I'm just going to kind of take this and go right on the top of that blue that we did. And we can make that just a tad bit brighter. Same thing over here on the handles, or the axe handle. Right here, I can do that. Just kind of where the light's gonna hit the most. You can hit these little dots here. See how that just kind of pops that out? You can pop that out down here. So you kind of do a little bit there, a little bit there, and it pops it out on the foot. Now, to do this, when I do this, I'm doing it on two sides. I'm doing it on the front side, right? So the way I want people to see it is like this. So I'll make sure that you get the front side here nice and bright. Really, I'm doing this really quick, so I'll have to go in and fix that. But you want to do it there. You're definitely, well, I'm not going to do it here because I haven't done the medium blue here. But then I'm going to take it over here and I'm going to look at it from the back side, and I notice that this should be a little highlighted right here from the back side. Right? This isn't a showpiece. You're not doing this for a diorama. You're not doing this for a competition. You're doing this for a game, right? People are going to look at this, the frontwards and the backwards. So you want to make sure that things can be seen frontwards and backwards. The other place that I'm going to do this to show you is right here on the necklace. Very carefully. I'm just going to kind of do it there. Very carefully, I'm going to do it here. I don't want to get any on the actual mane. And so you might want to do it here. Here. Right from a tabletop standpoint, you want it to be nice and poppy far away on the table. And that's what this is going to do. Now, if you were doing it for competition, then you might have to go a little bit more where the lighting's going to hit. But see, that's what that looks like. All right, so I have to do that. But before we do that, I want to do T-Cat, the paint. Let's see. Whoops. The paint dragon, because she's hoarding all the paint. Oh, possibly. Wait, did I miss anything? Allergy, but I picked up more paint this weekend. Which paints did you pick up? Paint Dragon? Is that a new company? Do I need to get more paint? Looking good. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So I have to do that. So when you come back next Sunday, this will be medium blue and light blue, because I'll try to work on some of this to a done state, and all this down here, right? Okay, so where was I going next? I was going to do something. Why do I always feel like I'm ready to do something and then I forget? Oh yeah, I'm going to highlight the black. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of the black that we used. I'm going to take quite a large number of black here. And because I want this to be a black belt, I don't want the highlight to be super stark. Or if you want it to be super stark, it's super shiny. But again, I'm going to start with just a little smidge of gray and see what that does. So I'm going to just put it in there. I can already see it's brighter than that black that I got. So that's what I'm going to use first. And I'm just twisting to get that point back. And I'm just going to go around and find those edges. And I'm going to go above where the bone is right here. And just do the middle of that to show it's highlighted. Now you're not going to see this on camera because the light is going to actually take this gray and make it look black. But what I'm doing is I'm just edging everything, getting to the high spots, the flat areas, and using the black just to be my most inner, the most inner recess. And we're going to do the back here. I'm going to do this again over the bone because that's kind of jutting out. No, it's not a new company, but maybe it should be. Again, I'm just going to take some ivory. Not ivory, I'm sorry, bright warm gray. It's just that much, just on the tip. Put it in there. And if it's not lighter than what you want, you just do it again. And you just keep adding until it gets to a desired lightness. Uh-oh, somebody came in and I feel bad because we're going to be leaving soon. Humbler John, what's going on? Monster Den Minis, thank you so much for that raid. How are you doing this evening, sir? I will get you a shout out in just a second. Welcome in, raiders. You've caught me at an awkward time. I will continue painting for this most generous and awesome raid. Ladies and gentlemen, those of you that did not come in the raid, if you are not following Monster Den Minis, then you need to do that now while I talk to Monster Den Minis. Hold on really quick. Hey, let's see. Paving Mantis, thank you so much for the follow. Bench Guy, thank you so much for that follow. How are you guys doing? What's been going on, Raiders? My name is Gel Tip, and you're watching Mini Painting with Gel Tip. Let me move this light right out of your way for a second. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Gel Tip, and this is Sunday Night Paint-Alongs. What we do is we paint a certain miniature. If you're not following my Discord, you can go into my Discord, ! Discord will get you the link. Go over to Paint-Alongs 2024 channel. And you can see what miniature we're painting for the month. I take 4 weeks. Every Sunday we're doing it right now until the summer, and then we'll switch back over to Thursdays. But we just take the 4 Sundays or 4 Thursdays of the month and we paint a certain figure. I give you a basic color palette. You go in, you get the colors. You don't have to use the paints I'm using, but I do offer those up. So if you want to get the miniature, you want to get the paints I'm using. What is going on? Thank you so much, Bench Guy, for that 1,000 bits. You didn't have to do that, sir. But I appreciate everything you do. Warp Drive, dude, thank you so much for that follow. So we're painting up this guy, and that's what we do on Sunday nights. So let me come back out, and this is what we're doing. So the first 2 weeks is just tabletop quality stuff. So you could just throw him on the table, and he's got some of the colors and some of the contrast in there. So he's gonna have some poppability on the table. The next 2 weeks, we go back and we start refining him to Tabletop Plus. We start adding some features to him. We start blending in some more of the colors, and we start adding things to give him more character. So for right now, this is the second part of this. I will always put these up on YouTube when they're done. So if you want to follow along, you can go to the YouTube channel and paint along. We've done these for quite a while. Let me show everybody what we've been doing here. So one of the paint-alongs was from Quantum Minis. I'm going to try to incorporate more sculptors, digital sculptor people, to promote them out. But we were working on this gentleman as a paint-along last year. So this is one of the things that we're doing, and I was just kind of finishing this up a couple weeks ago. Some of the other paint-alongs we did this vampire as a paint-along. So we took him from, and this trimming on the cloak, that's Tabletop Plus quality. And then we did some other stuff. We did some glowing eyes and things of that nature. But that's what he looks like. As that was one paint-along that we had done. Another paint-along that we had done was this gentleman here. So, and then I was just, so I was playing around with non-metallic metals after the paint-along, but this is what we had done for this guy. This was our very first paint-along. Just a green dragon with a shield and stuff. So if you're interested in doing some of the paint-alongs, you can join the Discord and do it. And then I don't think I have the other one. We did a 3D, or not 3D. We did a Dark Elf Priestess. We even made statues as a paint-along. We did this marble. We were just doing this marbling here, and we just took an old broken miniature and just painted them as a statue. So that was one of our paint-alongs. So if everybody wants a terrain piece for their game table, then you can do it. So those are the paint-alongs. We do it. Love the marble. Yeah, we did 3 statues. We did 3 statues. We did a white marble. So this was our white marble statue. I can already see some of the issues that I had with this white marble, but we're doing this. I think this side probably shows the white marble a little bit better. And then we did red marble. So here's some red marble. And we did some cracks in this statue here. Gotta run, my friend. Have a great night, everyone. Cheers. Thank you so much, Monster Gen Minis, for stopping in and bringing everybody over. I will try to take as good care of them as you do. But I might not be their target market, so we'll have to see. Great models. Thank you. Some people ask me why I do mostly Reaper stuff for my paint-alongs and not Games Workshop and stuff. And it's because I don't want to dictate what your color scheme is. I can definitely do the Games Workshop stuff. You know, so like for example, here's my Idoneth Deepkin, but you may not want to do yours in purples and teals and have a blue skin. So I don't do army stuff, but if somebody wants me to paint an army, or not an army, but if somebody wants me to do a color scheme for their army, I'm not opposed to doing that. I just think that if somebody wants to paint along, it's either not their army or it's not their color scheme. So I stick with D&D models because we all need gnolls in D&D, right? We all need terrain. We all need orcs. Whoops. We all need orcs, right? So that's what we do here. Who wouldn't want to use purple? I don't know. I'm not using purple on this guy. He doesn't scream purple to me. But yeah, so basically when you guys came in, all you raiders that came in, wow, I got a level 1 hype train. That's awesome. I don't think I've ever gotten a hype train. It's so cool. Heathen. That's hysterical. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're not following Muses Touch, T-Cat, and I know you all follow Monster Den Minis because you came in with him, but he's another great person to... I get inspiration from all these folks. And if you're a streamer and you want me to shout you out, I will be more happy to shout you out. And if you're a streamer and you want me to follow, I will be most happy to follow you because I get inspiration from all you folks. That's the only reason why I can do all this. So, my socks for you. Thank you so much for that follow. I totally appreciate it. So, ladies and gentlemen, when you guys came in, I was highlighting the black on here because we're giving them a black belt. I will hang out for a little bit longer with all of you. Thank you so much for the raids. But really, at this point, he's pretty much where he's going to be for tabletop. So I'm just going to go through and start cleaning him up. I just bought some Gale Force 9 and some Reaper. Awesome. What'd you get from Gale Force 9? Alright, so we're going to go ahead and add a little bit more of this bright warm gray. And I'm just going to go through. You twirl the brush to get it back to a point. And got to use some eyes because I'm old. And I'm just going to stick to the front of the miniature, right? So every time, like I said before, every time you add a lighter color to your mix, you want to paint a much smaller area. So I'm going to paint around where the bone is, right here, right? Because the bone is going to kind of jut that forward. His thigh right here is going to kind of jut this part forward. I'm going to do the top right here. And I'm going to kind of do this bottom of the belt. So I think you guys came at the right moment because I think we're also going to do a gemstone on his belt. Gale Force 9 is some good stuff. It does. I have not gotten anything from Gale Force 9 just yet. At least I don't think I do. I might. We painted this black, so I'm going to take this pure blue. We didn't paint it black, we painted it dark blue. I'm going to take some of this vibrant blue right here. And so if you ever want to know how to do straight lines, very fine lines, hold the miniature as tight, not tight as you can, but as firm as you can. You're going to rest your hand on your other hand like this. And I'm going to take my finger here. I'm going to try to keep this middle finger here solid. And I'm just going to kind of slide this as best I can. I'm going to slide this with this finger and my thumb. So I'm holding the brush like this. If I hold this sturdy, I'm just doing this. This is how I get some nice straight lines. And so everything is nice and smooth. And so I can just kind of hit the top of this like this, so. Turn the miniature so I'm going straight up and down. Turn the miniature. And that's how you can do some straight lines. So if you're ever having an issue trying to get some straight lines going, everything's got to be super sturdy, and you're just using your index finger and your thumb and sliding it kind of like a pool cue. So that's how we do that. So I try to give you as much as I possibly can remember. So to do a gemstone, remember that the gemstone is light on the bottom and dark on top. So I'm going to do light on the bottom here. Although I don't know if it's going to work with this diamond. We're going to try it. The diamond might not do what I want it to do. Alright. And I'm going to take some of this bright. So to make this bright blue, we used some bright warm gray, and we used some blue. And again, we're going to stick to the bottom of that diamond. I think I'm going to get some blue back in the middle of that. Just regular blue. And we're going to add a little bit more of that bright gray. And we're going to turn the miniature over, and we're going to just kind of do a little bit more, but less. Alright, we're going to do more highlight, less area. So we're going to do this. So it's this gradual light going up. Oh my gosh, who's that? Who's that? New York and Co. Nyan Co. Thank you so much for that follow. Now, as you can see, I got some on the belt. It's not really the belt, it's more the framing of this diamond. So we're going to actually go ahead with black and just fix that up. Just like so. And we'll take, now I could take this bright warm gray if I want, or I could take the ivory. I'm going to take a mixture of both. So it's going to look like white, but it's really not. And you're going to really kind of just poke it. You're going to really just poke it right at the top. You can't really see that because it's such a small area. See if I can do this a little bit later. There we go. That's what I'm looking for right there. It's so hard to do fine details on camera. I'm gonna take some of this gray. I'm gonna make this nice and bright now. Right at the bottom. Right at the bottom of the tip. So we're gonna get it in there, and then we're gonna frame it with the silver. So I'm just to take some of this filigree silver from Citadel, what the heck is that? From Reaper. I just have to thin it out a bit. It's getting a little thick. All right, we're gonna twist that around. I bought Archon, Trogar, and Krull. I also bought Remoras and Beer. I bought a few more. I'm gonna have to check those out. Very carefully. making straight lines. We're going to take this nice bright silver and just touch the frame. Touch the frame. Very carefully. Now, this is showing up because I have black and a very extreme silver. And you just want to do it as straight as you can. See it? Bye.
Well, gosh, what do you think of that, dear guy?
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for that subscription, bench guy. I appreciate it so much. Let's see. Is there a way for me to actually put this in focus? Let's see. How did I lose focus? That's what I want to know. I don't remember losing focus. Oh, I know why I lost focus, because of this thing. This has got to come down. Now I should be in focus, right? Because I have more light? No. Alright, so sorry folks, I have to figure something out, because you guys have been looking at this all like completely bonkers. Let's see, so hey, this changed on me. Is this working? This is not working. Working. Alright, hold on. Looks like we're gonna have to go to auto. Let's see. Alright, let's see. Is this gonna focus in up for me? Focus. I love D&D models. Huh. Doesn't want to do it. Oh, you know what? It's probably because I'm zoomed in too much. Let me zoom out just a little bit. Alright, so there's that. So if I hold it up here, I should be able to get it to be focused. There we go. So there's my little gemstone in there a little bit. He's looking a little rough. I think what I'm doing is I'm taking this a little to tabletop plus. So let's go back to what we were doing for just tabletop, and we want to clean up around some areas. So I'm going to take this bright blue that we made, add a little more blue to this bright blue, and a little more gray. So we do a lot of mixing around with these paint alongs just because we don't use a lot of. I try to keep it within 10 paints. I'm just gonna kind of paint this here. Let's see, can I get up here? I can keep that in focus, right? We're just gonna kind of no, I gotta get that to be a little bit brighter. Sorry. There we go. That looks like a little bit brighter. There we go. That's what we're looking for right there. So we want to just make this blue just a tad bit brighter than it is to make it pop more. There we go. Oops. So there's the blue that's on there. Oh, we want to make this pop a little bit more, right? So let's make this pop more. Make this pop more. And I'm gonna go in between all of these little teeth, and I'm just gonna kind of use the tip, the side of the tip, to just touch all those blue areas. There we go. Like, all right, so I'm gonna take some of this black now. This black is really getting thin on me. And I'm just gonna go here wherever the bracelet is. We're gonna make this nice and black, because then we'll paint this bracelet on, and we'll figure out how to get that to be a nice color. I wonder if we can do a green metallic. Ooh. That might be too far advanced. We can make them green. We can make them a green bracelet. I'm just trying to see what other colors we have. You know what? Let's mix some green and silver, and we'll make them a nice green bracelet. But before we do that, we gotta have it nice and black. Oh my gosh. There's no such thing as talking too much. Or, hold on, I'm in the zone. It's always, you know, a lot of people say, oh, I can't keep up with you and stuff. And when you can make me talk, then I can. So let's see what's being said in chat, and I'll let everybody catch up. Let's see. Does it count when I'm painting GW and to be used in a D&D as a D&D model? I would say yes. Oh, Awkward Panda's in here. Whoa, wait. All right, hold on. I just have to catch up on chat. Sorry, folks. I haven't had so many people in my stream. It's awesome. Who wouldn't want to use purple? Heathen. Yep, we got that. We got that. I rewound too far. Yep, we got that. Peeking out a lurk. This is looking really good. Thank you so much, Awkward Panda. Yeah, I think, you know, for tabletop, we're pretty good. But we'll get it to look a little bit more in. I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but yeah, we'll do that. And then we got some miniatures that I learned about. Yep, more. I love D&D models. I do too. I'm trying to get my kids in on it. You know what? I have an idea. Reaper Miniatures makes a whole bunch of mouselings, and I was gonna kind of make this the bad guy, or I have another version. I have another Quantum Mini, which is a cat, an evil cat with a hammer that has a big cat paw imprint on the hammer. So I was gonna make them have to fight that too. And they were, yeah, I have almost all of the Reaper mouselings. I just like the fact, you know, like I got the druid, I got the samurai and stuff like that. But yeah, I thought it'd be kind of a cool little kids module, you know, doing all of that. Does it count when I'm painting a GW to be used in D&D as a D&D model? Yes. If it's because every model is a D&D model, but if you use it for something else, then you're using D&D models for wargame miniatures. So, sorry for talking so much. I apologize. You're not talking it much at all? No. I like the fact that people are talking. There is no such thing as talking too much on stream. That's correct. Okay, now you're off camera. Yeah, I know, because I changed the focus, and so now in order for me to get it up close, I have to come back here. So let's move this back a little bit. Let's do that. All right. So if I'm painting like this, I should be on camera now. Okay. Thank you so much for all of that. Redeem the goblet hydrate. Do I have something to drink here? Hold on. I don't think I can open this. Hold on, I might be able to open it. See, I missed that too. Give me a quick second. There's got to be something to open this with. One of these days, I will remember that T-Cat likes to redeem my goblet hydrate. Okay, let's use this. Do I have anything to open this with? That's the question. We will get it, I promise. I just had to figure out. Oh, yeah. Oh, don't break on me, though. I can do this. I can smell it. Yeah. See? MacGyver it. That's gel tippet. I use these, see, these to open this. And now to pour this into this. Just to show you that I'm not being, see, ooh. All right. I don't know if this counts as a hydrate, but because you use water to hydrate, but I have no water. Let's move this up. You don't need to see that in my face. And here you go. This is the goblet. I never hydrate with water. It counts. Here you go, T-Cat. This is to redeem. Here is your goblet. Look how nice. I love this goblet. Look at this. Isn't this cool? I gotta use this one day for D&D. Oh, that's some good stuff right there. That's almost as good as my shot glass. You know what, Muse? When we do a dual stream, I have my own personal shot glass. So if they redeem a shot glass, I can do it with you. But since we never stream on the same day, it's so hard for us to find a dual stream together. But I do have the shot glass for that. I don't know what I'm going to put in the shot glass, but I can do it. There you go. That's the goblet hydrate, ladies and gentlemen. I love my goblet. One of these days, I'm going to put actual red wine in it and make it look like blood. No, I'm not. I'm just teasing. Not good. All right, let's get back into some painting, we're going to do some cleanup on him. And that is, I'm just going to go around the horn. So if you ever want, if you ever want to boost your painting up, there's one simple thing you can do. Now, you could do this with all kinds of stuff. I kind of like doing it with contrast, because contrast is pretty thin. But I'm going to use what we have here. I'm not going to bring in new paint, but I'm going to use some of this black and brown. Now, I could add a little bit of the burnt orange to it, but all I'm going to do is anywhere where there's a shift in material, such as his finger and his axe blade, I'm just going to go in, make sure I'm there, and I'm just going to kind of darken in between those things. So right next to the fingers, I'm going to use this nice dark brown, because we use dark brown on the handle. This is how I kind of clean up some of the stuff. Now, you could, if we had started, you could do this, you know, you could paint until you get to this spot and then stop, and which is something that I'm going to start working on. But anywhere that you see some kind of shift, like where these teeth are, I might just kind of do around the teeth. And you kind of want, so I can get up close. I might have to go back with some of the bright orange here to get closer, but you want to make these as thin as possible. And I'm kind of doing this as close as I can so you can see. So these are going to be a little bit thicker. That's why I like using a lot of thin paint for this. You can add some paint to your, but you want to make sure that you're using enough thin paint to get a nice small line. Let's see if I could do this. Damn it, you're too high on camera. Hold on, I'm trying. Here we go. Just like this. Can I see this? Yeah. So I'm just going around the... I will get this, trust me. I moved the camera. I gotta move the camera back down a little bit. It's too far up, so I can't get it in focus. But that's kind of what you want to do. So around these fingers, and then how about I do it in somewhere where I know I can reach? Okay, so like right in here in this leg, I'll just kind of do this nice dark. Now it doesn't have to be this dark brown. I could use a dark green over here. I could use a dark orange over here. But whatever it is, I want to separate these materials. So like, this is a perfect example right up here where this leg is. I'm just gonna kind of do right underneath this green cloth. And what it does is it really pops out the green from the leg. And then, like, if it looks like you made a mistake here, I didn't. I just need to define that. So I'll just define it there. I also bought Beneath Baldur's Gate. He's out the Lich. the Fire Giant Dreadnought and the Adult Red Dragon. Oh, cool. So that's kind of like what I... It's kind of like how I have to, or what you should do to clean up the miniature. It's a darker color around whatever you painted. So, for example, if you did chainmail or you did metal, over here I could do black, right? So I could use this black edge because we painted the axe handle, or excuse me, we painted the axe blade black. So I could do this black up here, or I could do it dark brown because the axe handle is brown. So you just choose which color is the darker of the two. Not darker of the two, the darker of one of the colors. So because this is silver, it's like a gray, I'll use black. If I had blue next to green, I would choose dark blue, or I would choose dark green. Problem is, if you use black all the time, it turns it into a cartoon, and it doesn't look kind of realistic. So like where this black belt is, I could do black because I want this to be a black belt. So I will do a nice black lining around that to separate it from the skin. But if I had like this blue here or this orange, I wouldn't do a dark black around that. I would do a dark blue, or I would do a dark brown or orange to go around there. Where the tail is, since that's kind of black, I can just do that. Oh, hold on. Let me bring this light back down. But if you see how you see where the axe blade separates from the handle, the paint handle, you can see where the hand separates from the paint handle. That's kind of what you want to happen here. So for me, I would take some of this green and black. Oops, I hit water. That's not good. Well, it is and it isn't. You want it to be thin. I'm going to also hit some of this brown. So because the bone is brown and because the bone is brown and the skirt is green, I chose to use both colors here. And what I'll do is I'll just kind of hit very carefully around the bone color and where the tunic mixes. Is it a tunic? Could be a skirt. I don't know what that is. And then I can just kind of go around the bone. So that's kind of what you want to do. If you ever think that your miniature is a little messy or it's not working out, you can pop out all of these values just by sticking a darker color right next to it. It's hard to see on this guy because you know, and if you make a mistake, then you know, you can always go back and fix things up. Like I have to go back and fix up all of this orange that I messed up in here. But with these teeth, I could probably take these teeth and take this dark brown and just very carefully, I gotta use the glasses for this, very carefully I'll just go on the upper lip and fix up and get that to be there. And then I can take the teeth and I can actually go in between each one Why is my chat paused? I'm missing a whole bunch of chat. Thank you for your time. Having a wonderful night. Thank you, Ed, for sending me here. Bench Guy, thank you so much for stopping in. Thank you so much for those bits. I appreciate it. I don't know if you stream, but if you do stream, let's give Bench Guy a quick shout out. Maybe we can encourage Bench Guy to stream if he's not. Bench Guy. This is a wonderful place. Well, thank you so much. So there you go. I think outside of, I mean, we can call him kind of done. Oh, wait, no, we can't call him done yet. What am I doing? I haven't finished. So we have to get the blue on the handle here. So we'll just do this really quick. Fix this. Ladies and gentlemen, exclamation point Discord will get you into the Discord. I have a lot of information there, and you can always pop your head in. I'm trying to put as much stuff as I can in there as information. There we go. So here's where he's at. This is how much we got done today. I think he's good for the table. We have his bone stuff done. We have his belt done. We gave him a gemstone. He's got a mouth. We didn't do the eyes. That'll be a tabletop plus thing. But we could throw this on the table. Throw a little bit of gray down here on the rocks. We'll work on that. But I think when you put him on the table, people will know who this is. So we're gonna call him done for this round. That'll take care of part 2. He's tabletop quality, maybe a little bit more, but we'll get him to a little bit or tabletop plus, because this right here, this belly, this chest just screams gashes or scratches or something across it. So I want to do something with that. And then we have to do the spots for the gnoll, because the hyena, because gnolls are based off of the hyena. So we want to do that. But here you go, ladies and gentlemen. If you put this on the table, people will notice it, and he's good there. I'm going to stop this music, and I'm going to come back out. And I have some shout outs to do because I saw people in here. Ha, ha. Like Awkwardish Panda, who is sitting in here, and we don't know that. She just popped out alert for a second. Ladies and gentlemen, Awkwardish Panda is an awesome person. Go please follow her. Let me move this out of your way so you can see me. Take these eyes off. Okay, so let me say once again, every Sunday for the fall, we're going to do these paint-alongs, and it's just one miniature for the whole month. So this month, it's the Gnoll Ravager, Blackmane. I do post all of these streams on a YouTube channel. So when I get those YouTube channels up in the Discord, you can follow along. I don't know. I think I did it already, but if you weren't here for... if you weren't here for the female monk, I think those are up on Discord, those links. If they're not, I will post them up there. That's Xiao Liu. And then once you start joining the YouTube, not join the YouTube, but once you go to the YouTube, I think I have other ones on there that we used to do classes online. We used to do 4 weeks in June or July, and I would just teach different things. So those are up on the YouTube. These paint-alongs are up on the YouTube. And then if you go into the Discord, you'll find there's the university, which has a whole bunch of videos to demonstrate certain things, such as dry brushing or glazing or stuff like that. But we do these on Sunday night, and we'll continue for the next 2 weeks in April. We'll doing the Gnoll Ravager, and then I forgot who's up for May. It's on there, so if you go and find the Paint-Alongs 2024, you can go find what we're doing in May, and then you can grab that piece. I think it's still a Reaper piece, and then you can buy it, and then I will put the basic color palette on there. You can get those colors, or you can wait until see what I'm using. I use all kinds of paints. I use Monument Hobbies, I use Reaper, I use Vallejo, I use Cuttlefish, I use, you know, I even got some huge and too thin coat paints here. So, you know, I will try to get as much alternates out there as you can. And if you have an idea of what you would like to see as a paint along, and you have a color palette that you want, let me know. Just send me a DM, send me a Discord chat, and we'll talk about it, and I'll get it on here. Next stream is on Tuesday, technical tryouts, and what I'm going to do is try to do some sketching using all kinds of gray tones, sketching where I want highlights, where I want darkness and stuff. So we're gonna practice our sketching technique. I don't know if I can do it. I haven't done sketching. I try to do it, but then it all goes awry when I start painting because I don't have a clear plan. So we're gonna hope we can do that. So join us here on Tuesday for sketching. Again, every Friday is the film case brigade cleanup, which means I try to finish anything that's on a film case. So join us here on Fridays. So Tuesdays is at 7:30, I believe, or 7. I don't remember. What you just look down below and it'll tell you what the schedule is. Friday is at 9 o'clock, 9 to 12. We finish something on a film case, and we'll see you back here next Sunday for part 3 of the Gnoll Ravager. So that's everything I got. And I think this is the first week I get all 3 streams in this week. So join us when you can, and let's hang out. So before we go anywhere, let's go find out who we can take all of our raid to. I'm going to pay it forward. So let's see who's on that might like to have all 22 or more of us. So let's see who's on. I'll try to take you to somebody that is almost as good of a teacher as I am. Let's see. Oh, you know what? I don't get to raid into this person very much. Let's go into AD Creations 24 stream. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you like what you see here and you like what you saw somewhere else, you're going to absolutely love what you see at AD Creations. She is a fantastic person and a great artist and another inspiration. So where's my raid? Oh, here it is. I got it. There it is. So we're going to go say hi to AD. And then I have some office works I got to finish up. So you guys can continue painting with AD if that's what you're doing. Let's see. AD Creations 24. There she is. All right. So I'm going to start this raid, but now I have to go into her channel. And so when she talks to me, I know what she's doing. All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so thank you so much for stopping in, and I hope to see you either on Tuesday, Friday, or Sunday for part 3 of that guy. Have a good night, everybody. And remember, I'll see you behind the brush. Nope, want that one. That's a good one.
Uh-oh. Gel tip. Ooh. Gel tip. Hello. Got a raid. There is a raid. We got with 21 people. Hi. So many. How you doing? Hope everybody is having a fantastic night. Welcome in, Raiders. Delta, I hope you had a wonderful raid. I hope you had a wonderful stream. forgive me and my brain stupidity today. It has been, my electric meatball is definitely malfunctioning today. But welcome in Raiders. My name is AD Creations, and I paint, and this is my hobby.
Get fresh tasting water with Every Drop by Whirlpool. Every 6 months, simply replace your Every Drop compatible refrigerator's water filter to block harmful contaminants and keep your water tasting clean. And just one Every Drop refrigerator water filter